I want to do this challenge chip by way of a video because it deals with some really important things that I want to communicate to you. And it has to deal with this notion of 100 days. Why did I choose 100 days? What's the difference between 100 days? It could have been 50 days, it could have been 80 days, it could have been 365 days. Why are we setting a specific time? Okay? And I want to tell you that, but first I want to contrast what for a lot of us life is normally like. Most of us want certain things. Okay, we'd love to maybe have more money. We'd love to maybe have more freedom. We'd love to have more time to spend time with our loved ones and doing the things that we like to do. We'd love for life to maybe feel a little more meaningful, a little more fulfilling. Okay, but for most of us, our day-to-days are just filled up with stuff. Stuff that is necessary, but it's stuff, okay? It's the paying the bills, it's the taking care of the kids, it's just the kind of existing that happens. And it's rare for us to have a moment where we channel all of our passion, all of our energy, and push ourselves to beyond what we think we're capable of. This is specifically why I chose a time in this. Because it's really hard for us to say, okay, I'm going to make a commitment that for every day from here on out, I am going to work. I'm just going to give the very best that's in me. I'm just going to give it all to the world. I'm going to give so much of me every single day. The reality is it's difficult to live that way. But what you can do, though, is you can make a decision that for a defined period of time, you will go beyond what you normally do. You can make a decision that for a very set period of time, you know, almost, in the other challenge tips I've said, live like a kid. This is that whole idea, is that I've got a chunk of time here. And I maybe normally wake up at 7 in the morning, but for this chunk of time, I'm going to wake up at 6:30. I maybe normally go to bed at 10:30, but for this chunk of time, I can stay up a little bit later and I can work a little bit harder. Maybe normally I kind of watch an hour or so of TV before I go to bed, but for this chunk of time, I can cut that TV off and I can say I can do these specific actions in my business instead of it. Our minds can deal with that. Our minds can comprehend the idea of only for this amount of time. It's very hard for us to say, well, for the rest of my life I'm not going to watch TV, or for the rest of my life I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and work on my business. That is very, very difficult for us to do. And the reality is most of us, when we try that type of commitment, we fail. That's why New Year's resolutions hardly ever work, because they're general, okay? And life gets in the way and it pushes us out. But you can do it for a specific amount of time, okay? And what I'm trying to get in this could totally change your life. If you can commit to a set amount of time of pushing past your fears, of pushing yourself harder than you've pushed for a set amount of time, and then you get to that end of that set amount of time, regardless of whether or not you've gotten your goal, you've created a habit. Now you can do it again. You can say, I can do this for a set amount of time. And you're going to find life being more and more and more fulfilling when you live almost in increments where you're channeling everything you have and giving everything you have in this set amount of time. And then when you get to the end of that set amount of time, you review. You take an inventory. You say, what did I do right? What wasn't right? How can I fix this? What can I do better next time? You reset, you set the amount of time, and you channel everything. So my challenge to you, all of us are working right now, all of us have goals, all of us have committed in this 100 days. My challenge to you is to go a little further. Push yourself a little more. You can push yourself for 100 days. You can stay up a little bit later for 100 days. You can wake up a little bit earlier for 100 days. You can challenge yourself in ways that you haven't challenged yourself before in 100 days. It's just 100 days. You can absolutely do this. So go a little further. Think of it like the experiment. Think about it like I talk about live like a kid. You're the ultimate amateur scientist. Live like a kid this 100 days. Have no regrets. Push yourself as far and as hard as you can, and you'll feel very good about your contribution at the end.